Hello there and welcome to Sound Codex. This video wants to be part 2 of my previous episode about the Masker plugin. For those of you who don't know, the Masker is a free plugin. You can download it from the link in the video description. It is essentially a dynamic EQ that can analyze two signals, find overlapping frequencies, masking frequencies, and apply a custom EQ curve to compensate between these two frequencies and create separation. Keep in mind though that this plugin is still in beta version, so if you notice any glitches, any bugs, please write a comment down below. Talking about developers, this plugin was made by Nicola Degiorgi and Amedeo Fresia, with the supervision of Giorgio Presti, who is professor at the University of Milan. So this plugin is made by students. I had the opportunity to talk with Giorgio a couple of days ago, super kind person, and he told me a lot of interesting facts and insights about the Masker. So without further ado, let's get started. So before showing you some audio example, let me explain some crucial topics. First of all, the plugin now received an update. Giorgio released an update. Version 1.2 is now available. In my previous video, I was using version 1.1 that had some phase problems, a lot of phase problems. With version 1.2, phase shiftings are minimized, but are still present. And I'm going to show you where you can clearly hear that there are some phase shiftings. Talking about the plugin in general, here on the graph you can see we have an in level, the white spectrum, out level, the green one. We have the sidechain signal shown in yellow and the delta signal. The delta is essentially the EQ that is being applied to our signal. You can toggle on and off each spectrum by simply clicking on top of it. I want to see the in level, the delta, and the sidechain only. You can boost the sidechain level, and this is crucial because what the Masker is doing internally is taking your input signal, your sidechain spectrum, is subtracting them to identify if some frequencies are masking each other. So having the right level for your input signal and your sidechain level is the key to make this plugin work best. In my previous video, I told you that I didn't know what the stereo link was doing in detail. Giorgio told me that the stereo link is essentially a fader to transform this plugin from stereo to dual mono. When set all the way left, this plugin is applying different EQ curves to channel left and right, so it's working independently. So let's say that we have some cancellations, some masking frequencies on the left channel only. With stereo link all the way left, it will apply EQ only on the left channel. This though will change the stereo image. So if you want to preserve stereo image, bring the stereo link all the way right. In this way, it will apply the same EQ curve for both left and right channel. The clean up fader is adding bands. Essentially, when clean up is all the way right, the Masker plugin is going to concentrate all his analysis in the mid-high frequencies. This is the region where a lot of masking occurs. If you bring the clean up fader all the way left... Okay, so I am back. What I was saying was, if you bring the clean up fader all the way left, the Masker will start applying an EQ to the low end as well. This will produce dramatical changes to your sound. What I suggest you to do is to leave the cleanup fader as it is, so all the way right, and from there you can start adjusting this fader just a tiny bit so that you can find the sweet spot. Do not overdo with this plugin because it's easy to mess up your tracks. There are three ways you can use the masker. You can use it to boost masked frequencies, vary masked frequencies. These two methods requires sidechain. The third one requires no sidechain, and if no sidechain is provided, the masker will analyze itself, but we're going to talk about it at the end of this video. So let's start with method one. So I want to reveal masked frequencies. Before, let's have a listen to individual tracks. So we have a synth part, and a guitar. As you can hear, the guitar sounds very weak, even though it is a very distorted and fuzzy sound. So let's have a listen to this example with and without the masker now. This example to me is a really good one because you can clearly hear how the masker is working to reveal the guitar part. Now the synth is sent to the masker that is on the guitar track through aux channels 3 and 4, and I decided to boost to reveal masked frequencies. So those frequencies that on the guitar were masked by the synth. I know that some people suggest not to use EQ to boost your signal. I am not a professional audio mixing engineer, so I'm just showing you different ways you can use the masker. And to me, this example sounds very good, so why not to use it? In this second example, I'm going to show you how to use the masker to cut masked frequencies. So here we have a ukulele, and an electric guitar. What's happening here is in these peaks, the guitar has more energy in the high end, here, 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 so it's masking the same notes produced by the ukulele. We can have a listen to the spectrum. So the guitar is the blue one, the ukulele is the orange one. You can see the guitar has way more energy, around 3.5K, this area here. As well, here we see that a lot of frequencies are overlapping. They're essentially making the same note. So here we can work with the masker. With this specific example, I decided to apply the masker on the guitar track, and I decided to vary all masked frequencies. In this example, what are masked frequencies? I previously told you that the guitar was masking the ukulele, and it's true. But I decided to boost, as you can see, the sidechain, so the ukulele track, a lot here, so that the masker could analyze the ukulele and the guitar having the spectrum, the two spectrum with the same energy in the high part. This topic is very crucial. There's an alchemy between in level, out level, sidechain level. To make things a little bit clear, if your sidechain level, like in this example, has the same energy as your input level in the mid-range, it's fine. The masker is going to analyze and overlay the two spectrums to find overlapping frequencies. But what happens if your sidechain signal has way less energy in the high end of the spectrum, like in the example of the ukulele? Did you remember? Here in this part, what we want to do is to boost the sidechain level so that it will match the same level as the gear on the desired area of the spectrum we want the masker to work on. That's why I decided to boost the sidechain level so much. Here we have 24.1. If you remember from my previous example, I boosted the sidechain level by an amount of 9. Now let's have a listen without the masker and with. As you can see, the masker is working starting from 200 Hz up to 5K. So it is applying an EQ on a very large band of the spectrum. And here, once again, the effect is pretty noticeable. We can hear now the peaks of the ukulele, and we can still hear the gear in the background. For this second method, we could use a variation, that is to vary all clear frequencies. So we can keep this same example with the guitar and the ukulele. Clear frequencies are those frequencies that on the guitar have a higher amplitude compared to the sidechain signal. So let's have a listen to the masker applying an EQ to cut clear frequencies. When you work with the masker, you should think of masked and clear frequencies as two complementary aspects. You can decide to vary clear frequencies, or you can decide to reveal masked frequencies, or you can decide to do both, so clear and reveal at the same time. You can do the opposite. You can vary masked frequencies and reveal clear frequencies. All these combinations have different results, and it's up to you to try all of these combinations until you find the best solution for your needs. The third way you can use the masker is without sidechain. In this way, the masker will analyze the spectrum of the track it is receiving as input and will identify masking frequencies. Let's say that we have two frequency components very close one to each other, but one of them is a lower amplitude. Well, this quieter frequency will be masked by a close frequency with higher amplitude. For this example, I decided to use this vocal. It was not recorded professionally and it's an MP3. So let's see if the masker can add something new to this track.
I know I can be heartless, but I can still promise I wanna give you all my attention, yeah. I know I can be heartless, but I can still promise I wanna give you all my attention. Yeah. I know I can be heartless, but I can still promise I wanna give you all my attention. Yeah. I know I can be heartless, but I can still promise I wanna give you all my attention. Yeah. I know I can be heartless, but I can still promise I wanna give you all my attention. Yeah.
The version with the masker on sounded a little bit brighter, even though the masker was adding some frequencies that made the vocal sound a little bit nasal. But I think that overall, the vocal with the masker would sound better in a mix. Now let's talk about phase shifts. So as I told you at the beginning of this video, the plugin has still some phase problems in the high end. To demonstrate this, I made up this example. We have an overheads recording. So this is the dry signal. The phaser effect is very noticeable, but keep in mind that this is an example with exaggerated parameters. So here I'm boosting the in level. It's clipping here, as you can see. Let me mute the master. Almost clipping. The amount is set all the way up. So this is a pretty extreme situation. Once again, do not overdo with this plugin. Phase problems are still present in the high end, so use it and trust your ear as always. One last thing, some of you wrote in the comments of my previous video that 2000 samples of latency is a lot, and yeah, it's true. 2000 samples of latency for a minimum phase EQ is a lot, but these samples are caused by the time it takes to analyze chunks of audio. These are analyzed with an FFT, a fast Fourier transform, to analyze the overall spectrum of your input signal and your sidechain signal. That was all for today. So if you found this video interesting, please leave a thumbs up and subscribe to support my channel. If you want to share your opinion on this plugin, your experience with all of us, please write a comment down below. I'm always very happy to read and answer to all your comments. That said, thanks for watching and I'll catch you in a future video. Bye!